Welcome again to RaiseaGlass talk show. And on this episode, we are going to be hearing information, rants, bans, healthy conversations, perspective from myself, my co-host, and our guest speaker. Now, my name is Seun Odegbami. I am popularly called the storyteller, and I'm here with the amazing, beautiful Priscilla Amadi, who is my co-host for today. Priscilla.
Yes, you can call me that again, your service culture evangelist. And of course, we'll always be here to give you tips, tricks, informations, word on the street, personal experiences, stories, whatever happens. Make sure you are with us all through the segment, okay? And whenever you can, go back, watch all the shows we've put out there, and make sure you get value, because RaiseaGlass is also about value, right, Seun?
Yes, absolutely, you're right. And as our viewers, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to leave a comment for us.
Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Exactly.
Make sure they all subscribe.
Yes. And with us here is an amazing creator, a social media strategist.
Yup.
She's a writer. She's an influencer. And she's all those big things all in one person. She's popularly called Tiara. Our friends like to call her Tiara. So with me here is Olayinka T. Hannah. She's here with us for this show today. I will be speaking on one major topic that has to do with women, but I'm sure that you guys are going to enjoy it.
Hannah, let's hear from you, sweetie.
Hi, hello everyone.
Yep.
Okay, my name is Olayinka T. and like Version rightly said, I'm a LinkedIn influencer, I'm a content creator, I'm a feminist, and a lot of other things. You guys are going to find out by the end of this podcast.
Don't mind them.
That's what we like to hear. And you also know that on our sessions, we like to do what we call the hot takes. So on the hot take sessions, we, come up with things that are causing, hot take people on social media. It's because of you people that we are doing this. So let's hear your opinions. You get to hear our opinions on topics today. And our hot take topic today is going to be hot. Landlords that refuse to give single ladies or women houses to rent. Is it sense or nonsense? As a young lady, of course, single, probably living by yourself, you probably fit this description of people who has faced this kind of discrimination before. So do you think it makes sense, or do you think it's nonsense?
Okay, so let's look at it from the perspective of the landlord and the single ladies. So the landlord that comes out and say, I don't want to give you
Single ladies or women though?
Yeah, single ladies or women, an apartment. It's coming from a place of past experience, because nobody will just wake up one day and say, I built the house, I don't want to give single ladies a place to stay.
You
right?
think?
Good. And there's also a place of the single women too, who have not done anything wrong. They are just a victim of past experience from the landlord, right? Although I don't think that saying you will not give single women apartment is something that seems very, very barbaric, because I'm wondering, okay, you want to give an apartment to someone and the person treated maybe your house bad, they were bringing men. And I also think that even if your tenant is bringing men or women, I don't really think that really has anything to do with you. Although there's a place of the security of your house in context, right? Because I can't build the house and expect that you just bring different people and then something gets lost, something gets stolen. I'll be responsible because I'm the owner of the place. But then, I'm saying so that they will not drag me.
Hold your thought on that first, right?
Yes.
Just before you come to that, Seun, what do you think about that?
Well, I think that the area of, I think for landlords, or maybe landlords, I think it's a more of a moral standpoint. They are looking at it as a moral standpoint. Yes.
Not giving somebody's house to live in with their money.
Yes.
It's not about they need the money, but it's not about the money. It's not about the money. Then again, it's not all about the money, because if it's about the money, you can just as well bring a Yahoo person to come and stay in your house. Yes, now, or you can bring someone that does illegal things in your house. But it's first a moral thing, and then the moral thing is based on the culture at which that generation grew up in. And in that their culture or the norm is that if you're going to get a house, you must probably have a job, a stable job, legal job. It cannot be illegal. Exactly, it must be a legal job.
And to
show responsibility you must be married. A
but
married person
is no responsibility.
That's why I'm saying that the culture has shaped. Yes, that a married person is more responsible than somebody who is single. Even some single ladies, I don't want to generalize, they like married people. They are attracted to marry.
That's another discussion entirely, I beg.
How did we get there?
I'm wondering,
but I'm just saying responsibility, in terms of responsibility, right? They are looking at it from the moral standpoint that, if I bring in, and this is based on what I've seen happen, if I bring in a single lady, like, will she be responsible enough to take care of my house?
Of it.
Well, I won't say the promiscuousness. Even men will even
way more better.
Men will even bring more women than a lady, because a lady, if you bring too much man, they will have been, mama sure, they'll have been looking at you.
Yes.
All your neighbors will be saying, this one,
yes,
she's what different kind of cars used to come to our house. But if you're a guy, I bring a different girl, say this one is a player, knows how to play women. They will even hail you. They will even hail you. However, you also need to look at it from the perspective of the person giving the house. While it is not, that should have evolved at this stage of time.
Over
it's not something we should be talking about. But then again, you cannot padlock somebody's hand and say, no, you must do it this way. Because I myself wanted to rent a place, and the woman said that, am I married? She's looking for single people. She asked me for my picture. She asked me for my father and mother's picture, that she wants to see me.
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm serious.
To rent an apartment.
Yes,
that's what I'm looking for a job. Even in a job, I'm not going to share that.
So it is that serious, because people feel like they need to again be able to judge the character of the person that is coming in, and that is what they are using to judge character, and that is their own point of view and their perspective.
Yes. But you can't, because I feel the thing about that generation is they always feel like, that's how it's done then. It's the best way for you to know how somebody will be. But you cannot judge someone based on if someone can share their parents' picture and the parents is not even aware of what they are doing for a job.
Have you not heard of parents for hire and village people for hire?
People even rent them for marriage,
for burial.
So I feel like
that is what most people do now.
For me, I just
when they want
feel
to
like
rent houses,
at the end, right? It is not fair on these women. Even I, as a young person, when I wanted to rent my apartment, my colleague took me, and my landlord was like, then I think I was like 20. He was like, where do I stay before my parents? I said, my parents are not in Lagos, so I was like, okay, do I have? I said, yes, I have a job. I was like, okay, can I pay? I said, if I cannot pay, I will not rent now. So there was a thing of, he said he's scared of young people. And me, myself, the reason why even I don't invite people to my house, it's not even because of maybe if I bring, everybody's going to chase me. The least he can do is going to give me quick notice. But then I'm also considering my safety and the safety of people in my own apartment. Because the person I'm bringing, I think I know this person, but you never know people well. You never do. Honestly, you never do.
About it.
You never do. You can meet a guy today, and then you now realize it's a gigolo, or it's Banga Boy on Twitter.
Okay, so while those are valid,
yes,
right, I think let's hone in on the action of.
I think the action itself.
Not renting. A young lady has moved into town.
Yes.
Away from the parents' house. We happen to be in a community or in a society where everyone is fending for himself. Even the so-called people, male counterparts that are ready for marriage will not marry young ladies that are jobless.
Yes.
So when you now
very true.
When you now say that a young lady that's coming to rent your house because it's something that they need to continue their daily activities, and you begin to bring in things that do not exist. See, I think that's some form of ism. I'm trying to think of the ism.
No, it's just from it's a little now these people, a subtle what's it called, subtle acts of misogyny actually, because for men it doesn't happen often.
I'm coming to
it's
that.
It's a subtle act of misogyny.
I'm coming
so
to
that's
that.
it.
So
it's
I'm
subtle, but it's there.
of my head that this you as a house owner, you probably have a sister, a daughter. How would you feel if she went to another town? Or are you trying to say that every single human being that was born in your house would be bred and buttered in your house, they will not travel? That's quite limiting a scope. So
it's a very myopic
now
point
then
of
there's
view.
the issue of single ladies, and there's the issue of single women. I know in Nigeria, if you use such context, ladies are mostly single, like unmarried ladies with no kids most times, and then women are mostly
single mothers.
Yes. So are you now saying now that a single mother probably that came out of domestic violence is not eligible to stay in your house just because
that exactly
not, like there are just so many things that are wrong.
I think
so
the
for
point
me
is,
I think it's absolute nonsense.
Yes, it is. I agree. Why there are nuances to it, because the thing is, from every standpoint, it still points to the fact that whatever experience you've had as a landlord, me, somebody that I have no issue, I have no business, I don't know who this person is, taking it out on me is not fair.
Yeah.
It's not just fair.
And
it's
just
not
like
fair.
it's just like, oh, you went out today and your leg was hitting, you hit stone.
Yes.
And then you now decide that stones.
You will not go out again, no.
No, you will not decide that stones are bad.
You don't want to see stones anywhere you are.
And
yes.
It does. It's ridiculous.
And for a generation that's always telling you that at least because something happened to you, you shouldn't try and avoid it. It's very, very surprising that it's still going to be the same person that will be telling you, no, I rented one, the person was doing this one. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Let's just take a poll in the room right now, right? Let's just take a poll. Is this sense or nonsense?
Nonsense.
Is it sense or nonsense?
Why are you asking me that question?
I don't understand.
It looks like this man is a landlord.
Is it sense or nonsense?
Is nonsense.
Okay, the eyes have it. So,
yes.
Being that as it may, I would love to hear your opinion on in the comment section. Do you think that, once again, let me read our question, landlords who refuse to give single ladies or women houses to rent, if they are making sense or they are just doing nonsense? Would like to hear from you. Okay, we finished our hot takes. Now we are now back to the main cocoa of the gist, the main, nitty gritty. And I'm sure a lot of people are probably saying, oh my goodness, what are these people going to talk today? Today we'll be talking about feminism, that F word that nobody wants to say. So why do some people hate feminism? That's the question. That's what we'll be dissecting today from our various points of view. So, but to start, we really like to do, some kind of definitions, right? Defining feminism, what it really means, clarifying the core of feminism, more of like debunking some means and why it's still relevant today. So I think I'll split that between all three of us, and do our thing. Starting with, in your own opinion, what do you think that feminism really is?
Feminism is the radical notion that women want to be treated as a human being. That is just a simple definition. I don't want to just come and say, oh, feminism means, just like what. No, it's just a radical notion that women are saying they want to be treated as a human being, and that's just it. That's the simple. No matter how much you want to break it down, that is all it encompasses.
In summary.
Yes.
How about you, Seun? What's your own opinion?
All right. The way I define feminism is equity, right? Because I don't want to say equal like that, because male and female cannot be equal in that sense of it, because we've seen cases where a male is running on a female track for the females, and they are complaining that why is a guy running with them, right? That it's just for women only. So if you say
is it men like a man in his man's state?
Or transgender?
No. Yes, a transgender person.
That's not a man
now.
now.
He has changed his he/she pronouns to she him.
So I want to say vying for equity.
That's
right?
Okay.
Okay, that's good. Your various points of view, yeah. In mine, I think that feminism is women, like she said, somewhat similar. Women just wanting to be treated more with respect, and not completely disregarded in the way that's been done in some societies, and some civilizations are even making it worse, right? So which pushes us to the next question. There's a common misconception about feminism that it is anti-men. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who started that agenda or that narrative, but as a self-acclaimed, proud with your chest feminist, do you agree that feminists are anti-men?
I think anyone who thinks that feminist is anti-men actually are not happy with the fact that women are standing up for themselves and demanding to be treated like a human being. Because feminism has never been about men.
Exactly.
But men always want to make everything about themselves. That's my problem.
I know.
Because it's pointing all the way back to men.
Why? Okay, good. let me wait now. If I say good as someone day yesterday. Okay, fine. Let me give you a practical
I want a promotion
example
in the
now.
office. Okay. It's about men. I want to be able to go and work. It's
there's a
about
particular
men.
woman currently that has been in a court case. She has married her husband for
32 years.
How many
She's
years
French.
now? And her husband, like for the past more than 10
32 years,
I've been bringing different men online to SAR. He's going to drug her. Like, imagine that. Do you know how crazy that is? Now, we are talking about it online, and then a man is coming and saying, what did the woman do? Is there any action from her that should have actually warranted that? Imagine you now. They're not talking to you. See, anybody that they're not talking to, there's always wanting to make it about themselves. They are guilty. That's it.
With his full chest, he's projecting.
Yes, exactly. That's the word. Because what are you projecting? No, but we don't have any issue with men because there are still men out here.
What I will never understand is how men inject themselves into
conversations. It does not concern you.
That have nothing
to do with it. And I also think it's from a place of guilty conscience.
And when they are now being responded to, they now say, feminists are.
It's from a guilty conscience standpoint because a lot of times too, men also enable bad behavior of the other men. Yes, they do. So when you see something wrong and you don't talk, that is you enabling. And that's what we always say is all men. Until proving that you are not.
That is where I have an issue. Where you say all men. Why are you generalizing that?
Good. Let me ask you something. Let's take for an instance now that you're as a woman, if I'm walking in the night on a lonely road, I can tell you 100% for sure I'm scared. Not of a man stealing from me, but a man is going to like sexually harass me. That is my concern. Okay. But when it comes to you as a man, it's a different case. Now, if you're walking behind me at night and I'm on a lonely road, my mind do not think that, okay, maybe it's not the one.
This is some men that you're not going to touch.
You are a man. So at that point in time, I'm treating you as a potential danger to me.
And it's fine.
Exactly. I can't ask or I'm saying, maybe it's not part of the it's some men.
No, you turn back and say, he's wearing yellow clothes.
It's not saying.
It's not part of the men.
It looks 10-2. Did I write it on the face?
No.
Please. No, again.
Again, that scenario is some men that would do that.
Now, do you?
But how will I know?
Let's come to you.
That's the point.
My host that is hosting us today. I have a question for you.
Okay.
As a man,
yes.
Do you think that the idea of feminism is anti-men?
I think the idea of it is not anti-men, but the people that are championing the cause, some of them, they actually use it as a tool to be anti-men.
In what way?
When
example.
Give
us a practical example.
They use it as a tool.
Okay.
How?
So, for instance, look at the scenario of the lady that said she's cooking for her husband at 4 a.m. because of the incident of whether someone was sharing food with her.
Yes.
Her husband, and she decides to wake up that early.
Yes.
And then other people in the comment section say, why would they tell you to wake up early at 4 a.m.? The issue now became about men.
No. You are trying to
that issue has always been about men.
About men.
It has actually been about men right from the time.
It now became about men instead of being about the fact that she made a decision on her own.
No, actually, it's not a decision. Let me tell you.
This agenda is not agenda. Let me ask you. Don't worry. We'll talk this matter. First off, you said that she's waking up by 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Because someone was eating with her husband.
Please kindly note that she's pregnant.
Oh, let's not know that one yet. Let's talk about the note of the fact of what inspired the behavior in the first place.
Thank you, the intent.
Now, she said in her own words that a co-worker of her husband
is giving him food.
So it inspired her to wake up
4 a.m. and cook.
To cook. Was it about the man? Or was it not about the man?
No, it's about that particular man, not all men.
But that's the example.
Because now the what is happening is that they're not saying that's how all men used to do. That's how they used to behave.
No. Wait. It's the one that brings their own example to the internet that you know. You don't know the one that did not bring that example. So people are using it. You know how people will say, you see all these pastors that will buy car. People now tapping the God of that pastor.
Yes.
God of Odegbami, pray for me. So that most women were projecting through that particular example.
Yes.
This is a clear example of what is going on.
Yes.
And then the so-called how are the valid concerns raised by other women
a problem?
One, it is a lady that is pregnant and waking up by 4 a.m. Even though it's her choice, it still doesn't make it.
Is it me or I don't believe? See, if you as a man,
so that means that what you are trying to say is that what you are trying to say is that if you are working in a lonely, that example that you use,
yes,
lonely place, that means that my brother that I know will not do such a thing.
You want to swear for your brother now?
No,
wait, hold on.
I said
your brother. Good.
And I know that my brother cannot do that kind
of thing. Yes.
Right? He's walking behind you, but you have the notion that something would happen.
No,
when
you are treating it as a potential challenge.
Let him finish the hypothetical situation. Fine, go ahead.
Like, so you're not trying to say that in that instance my brother is a danger to you?
Yes, he is.
He's a potential danger.
Because I don't, even you, let me tell you something, I don't know you personally, and I'm working on the road.
Even when you know them personally.
Thank you.
Most of the rape cases
not the one we use. Yes, perpetrated by boyfriend,
by family members,
by husband, by cousins. I mean, there was this young girl in Nigeria now that was killed by her boyfriend.
There is this young girl.
Yes, a young.
There is this young. That happens every Saturday.
Thank you.
Are you joking?
It's everywhere. It's always happened. So I understand
I didn't mean it happens every Saturday, but you guys get the joke.
We might be making it a big deal of issue. I can tell you for sure that we are not even making it a big deal.
What amazes me is the fact that you are talking about this whole anti-men agenda and stuff, right? You said that you think that it's not anti-men. However, some players
hijacking the movement,
right? Anti-men. That's your viewpoint, right? So that being said, why is it relevant today that if we're actually going to say we want to be more human in our approach, why is it a fight for feminism against feminism? Why is it a fight for some form of gender equality?
Well, from my own point of view, I think that it still comes down to culture and the norms that are already existing. So in our society, right, naturally, if you are born a man, you have, I wouldn't want to call it superiority, but you are being looked in a different way than when you are born a lady.
You have upper hands now. There's a lot of benefits that comes to being a man. Yes.
Superiority, say it.
Maybe the right word is upper hand.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you have been
superiority, upper hand.
No, it's fine. You can say it.
You have been saying because superiority now is now supremacy.
Actually, superiority because women are asked to submit now, so it means you guys have a hand.
My host is looking for synonyms that sound good in his ear.
So definitely there are some things that naturally we can have or we can do and get away with, but not the same for
women.
Women have to work towards it twice as much as the guy. So say for instance, at work, especially when we talk about relationship, that's why work relationship. Maybe you want to pick somebody who is going to become the next CEO, and you have 3 women on the board, and then you have a guy. One of the women might be good enough for the position, but just feel like she's a woman. She's a woman. She's going to be Margaret Thatcher, or she's going to be emotional. She's going to put she can't handle the workplace things that are going to happen, or she's going to be in a certain way. But we'd rather give it to the guy than give it to the lady. But then again, it still stands from the point of what is the culture? What has culture been, especially culture in this part of the world? Other parts they are still working on it, but here, even myself and a lot of other people, maybe some people might not agree with me, but it is inherent in us already. If you come from that standpoint of view, I think it will be better.
Okay. It is good to hear it come from a man, and thank you for your view, and thank you for your honesty and candid opinion, because a lot of people want to act like it doesn't exist. They genuinely want to project that it doesn't exist.
I mean, somebody was asking this morning, what's the point of feminism? I say,
what's the point of feminism? You should go and ask his great grandmother who couldn't vote. What was the point? Okay. How do platforms amplify both feminist voices and backlash on social media, various social media platforms? Do you think that it's been amplified in a healthy way? Do you think that it could be done better? Do you think What's your viewpoint on that?
Well, the only time many Nigerian companies used to remember women and feminism is when it's Women Day. And many of them still do a terrible job at it. I don't know. Some of them, their marketing team still do a terrible job at it. I'm like, this is just the one day you can just one day. So I feel like when it comes to social media has really been a lot of help, especially for young women. There's certain issues that
creating awareness and empowerment.
I will not even lie. Being a feminist came from actually following certain women online. They were the one that enlightened me to certain things that this thing might be norm because you were raised in that particular setting, but it is not normal. And that was when I started realizing that, wow, so this thing is actually this is not how things should be. But not every woman wants to get out of that hole. Many people want to remain in that patriarchal system because it benefits them. They think it's safe, but it is not. I mean, just today, I just saw on Twitter they said that if you want to travel out, she has to get permission from her husband, like she wants to travel out of the country. And I'm like, in 2024, like, I want to leave this country, I'll now have to carry my phone and tell my husband that please give me permission. Women are not children.
I hear that.
I saw it just today. I'm like, what is going on?
Hear that.
And these are the issues. Too. It just shows that while we are talking about this thing, nothing is actually changing. If you are being serious, nothing is changing. If someone can come online in 2024 and be proudly say that they beat their wife on social media,
oh my God,
please,
he told on himself.
I think feminists are not even angry enough, honestly, because the thing is, as a man, right? It might
and
feel
he
like
was trying to mansplain it.
That is like, and the funny thing was, there are actually people that are still supporting this man. I'm like,
yes, they said yes.
Oh my, like,
oh no.
I said Amadi is too sharp. That's what they would do, and I'm like, these people are not okay. That's the only thing I can just say. So I feel like social media has really helped. And as for any young girl that is watching this out there, I can tell you for sure that if you are thinking of being you already have the idea that you are not okay with the gender inequality that is happening in wherever it is that you are. And the thing is, it starts from the home. Because growing up, I would never stop hearing my mom would tell me, you have to learn to see because I think to your husband. And I said that, and I said, Mommy, when I have money, there was someone that would be helping me and clean. And right now, I actually do have. And she used to remind me that truly you said this. And that's how it starts. Because a woman does not mean you are naturally giving birth to cook, clean, wake up for him. I will not wake up for him to cook for anybody. If they're hungry, they can go to the kitchen and go and take good demo or confess. That's my own.
No,
it's the truth.
I think that there's this. People are looking at these things from a point of how it serves me.
But feminism the thing is, there was a point where feminism for me was about the fact that, a lot of men are bad people. And there was a point where I actually did get a good man. And then that was when I had to actually ask myself that, okay, why exactly am I being a feminist? Is it because I don't have men have hurt me? Is it because I don't have a good man? Is it because of daddy issues? And then I realized that feminism goes way beyond just you alone. It's very easy for you to say, there's also choice feminism. Some people are like, there are women that are in big, big places, that there's certain things that can never happen to them because they have money.
That's incorrect, though.
Actually, there are many women like that there are certain patriarchal things that will not happen to them because they have money.
I promise you, go and ask them again.
Wow.
Behind the closet, it is not true.
Wow.
I promise you. See, what you have to understand is how we can have constitutional changes in Nigeria and in the world, right? We can have one or two drop anything that is inconveniencing men. Men will gather together and figure out how to take it out of the law. But you see this one that is favoring them, where they will sit back and some other woman will wake up 4 a.m. and be cracking her head on how to make sure you eat. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Because that would mean, what is the alternative? The alternative would not be that they will enter the kitchen.
I mean, what am I even saying?
Happen.
There was this particular video I saw of a woman.
That, right? I think that in feminism, if we remove the fact that people call it anti-men to be able to give it a bad name and make it seem like
I think
it does not have a good cause. That people think it's about men.
Yeah,
it's an insult to the
movement.
No, it is because some people make it about men versus
women. No, it has never been.
Infuse themselves into the conversation.
But why is the conversation always switching to men versus women?
No, let me. I want to make a point. No, do you know the reason why?
My husband beats me. And then another woman comes out and say, yes, my husband beats me. Most of the men in my life have beat me. Other men will not come out and say it's not all men.
Do you know the reason why it feels like the issue feminists are discussing in Nigeria is surrounding around men? It's because it starts again. The number one thing a Nigerian woman, every Nigerian woman lives for in her life is to become a missus. That is the truth. She wants to be with a man. She wants to be under a man. She wants to be called somebody's wife. And that is the reason why. That is what is killing us in this as women.
No, that's what culture shoves down your throat.
If you are not married, even my grandma was calling me that day and asking me what of husband. I'm like, I'm 24. What's going on? What exactly is going on? That is the reason. See, if you go to third world countries, these are not the conversations that are going on about feminism. But the conversation is still going on here because we have not moved away from it. These issues are there's a woman out there in Lagos Island now that has a gigantic shop that her husband, whatever money she's making, she's directing into her husband's account because he's the man of the house, and the man is sleeping and waking up at home. He's not doing anything, no, because he's the man of the house. Imagine someone that has a big shop at Lagos Island. You see, Daddy, why this is how much I made today? So the issue we will keep talking about, discussing about men, and the thing is, the reason why it's even about men is because you men every day. There's no side I don't see issue about you people. Is it that somebody say somebody? Rest. Is it that somebody call somebody and say, the lady did not agree for her, so calling her different kind of names? Is it that you are coming and saying, woman, keep quiet, your husband is talking? There's usually a pastor that was saying, when your husband is talking in a meeting, shush, what do you have to say?
Oh God. I say,
hey!
It's in the religious homes, it's in the cultural homes, it's everywhere. It's exhausting, it's stifling.
There are many places where a woman cannot be an SUG president in many schools. A woman cannot be a class.
One lady was SUG president of one school of recent, and they were celebrating it for over how many years? But I can promise you that they have been making one VP.
And the funny thing is, the men that have been putting, they are not doing anything.
It is the ladies, most of the ladies around them that are helping them. Most of them are working actually. But if you look at it again, do you think that this backlash against feminism is due to fear of change?
Yes. People fear change. Because the moment feminists have good ground and we are able to reform a lot of things, men will no longer benefit again. That's the problem.
What's your thought process on that? Is it fear of change?
Well, I don't know whether it's fear of change. I would say personally, I don't think that. It doesn't. I'll put it this way: it doesn't bother me. I'm not saying it. I'm saying that because I don't do it, it doesn't it doesn't bother me if the change.
Actually, even in ways you don't know.
No. Like if the change happens, that'll be positive,
because you don't participate.
But I don't participate I'm participating in all this thing on the norm. So
it's not really a problem.
It won't be a problem to me if women are clamoring for a certain change.
So it won't be a problem to you if you enter a plane and you see that the woman is the pilot.
Why should that be a problem?
Okay.
Why would I be scared because it's a woman that is driving the car?
Is it not you that just mentioned now that it's...
So hold on. I am not saying that. I am not saying that I don't have preconceived notion. Remember that I am a Nigerian man.
But I'm glad that you are aware of it.
And there are some cultural norms that I grew up with already.
You are aware of it. That's the thing.
There are some cultural norms that I grew up with already. I know that this is the norm. If a woman should tell me something else, I will feel like this is too much that I can handle. Do you understand what I said? So I already have that preconceived notion. Like, oh, now woman go do this thing. If I see maybe the thing shaped like that, I say now woman. And maybe it might turn out to be a guy. But the way I grew up, the culture I grew up
it's still ingrained
it is still
in you.
Ingrained in me. So whether I like it or not, it will still be there.
So we all agree now that there are some societal privileges, right?
Definitely.
That are deep-rooted, that a lot of these people are protecting, and that's why the fight and the backlash against feminism is very strong.
Now, and it's in a lot of cultures. Even in Nigeria, so firstborn female, they are firstborn female, and then you have a firstborn male. But the firstborn female is the one that came before the firstborn male, and then maybe you want to share property, you now give it to the firstborn male. You now say it's the head of the house.
In the will,
but there is a
that firstborn lady grew up washing all the dishes.
Yes, I
Second mother. When it's time to share property, they'll remember the boy.
Yes. Actually, I think in some places in the East, there are some places in the East where they cannot will property to a woman.
So you can't say guys in that environment will not be wired like that. They'll be wired like that because it's in their system. And unconscious, it will be an unconscious bias, and you'll be doing it. And
so do you now see that even though they know it's unfair, but because it's in their favor, because it's in their interest,
because they benefit a lot from it.
Upholding the culture like their life depends on it.
Exactly. Yes.
Of course.
If you are the firstborn son, why would you want to fight a culture
that will not allow you to collect property? Who know one house? and you know the thing is, I just feel like I love the fact that he's actually self-aware about the fact that these things exist, and even me as a woman, there are certain things too that are ingrained in my mind. Some preconceived notion, I'm like, my woman do this thing true. But then I'm like, I have to catch myself and be like, no, that shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. So it's normal. I mean, if you were raised in Nigeria, you will understand that the patriarchy eats very, very deep. We have not even scratched the surface.
Let me give an example. I can imagine those days, those feminists that fought for the right of women to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time they came out to vote, the men felt offended. Most times. A lot women, you see, one of the things that annoys me about this feminism and all these women that try to make feminism what it isn't, maybe it's about their own personal agendas or stuff, is the fact that women died for this stuff. People were literally stoned to death for their various beliefs. In fact, there are some things in science journal that has been speculated that it was not the man that it was assigned to that wrote it. It was either his wife or his assistant or one woman around the corner, right?
And so the man was given the credit.
He was given the credit because, God forbid that a woman takes that credit. So again, if you see that all these societal norms, and because it favors a certain gender, it's a fantastic way for them to keep on pushing that. And if you look at it, it also affects understanding the movement. Why would you want to understand it?
I mean, I never knew that it was women that actually made men travel to the moon. I didn't know that it was women until I watched Hidden Figures. I never knew.
Oh wow, that's
I never knew.
Exactly, and many
more. Look at the movie they did about Olufemi and Sam Kuti. The only thing I know about that woman is that she's the first woman to drive a car.
Oh, and that she has a Kuti at the end of her name. You don't remember that one?
That's the only thing. So it's good that history are actually being told and rewritten, because we really need to know that a lot of women are doing great stuff. The paper bag that we used was invented by a woman.
Oh,
we would have been carrying stuff in our hand like this.
I don't want to make this about all the amazing people in history. I mean, the reason why Ebola did not kill a lot of people
was because of a woman. Yes.
So we there are a lot of fantastic women that have done things over time. But for me, I think that when you are looking at these things and analyzing the various viral feminism contents, right, that have been out there over time, you just give an example, the 4 a.m. woman that, again, like I said, she has a choice to make a decision about her own,
yes, but it should not be a standard for every other woman.
But where a lot of women drew the line is that saying it should be projected onto, hey, come and see your mate too, and stuff like that. I mean, that's where a lot of women dug in their heels and like, nope.
Well, is it not true?
No.
No.
Why she need to wake up for it?
Okay. Okay, you ought to join them. No, ma'am.
I want to marry so that I won't do anything now.
For myself.
Now, a lot of, he said something, and I love that. He want to marry so I will not do anything. And that's a typical mentality that most people have.
See, there is
a young man
no
cannot
issue.
cook. A young man cannot cook, go and marry.
Yeah,
a young man cannot
he can't clean. Go and marry. I don't understand.
Is women rehabilitation center?
Oh,
they are the support system.
No, that's not support.
That's not support.
But
that's
God forbid that same a lady cannot cook. A lady that cannot cook, go back to your father's house.
No.
A lady that cannot wash, go back to your father's house.
Even if you go to in-law place and you tell them you cannot cook, they will say, where are you coming from? If you go and if I've said it, I said if you go to, I don't know about any other person. I was telling my partner, I said if I come to your house on the first day, I hope your mom is not expecting me to enter the kitchen and cook for her. I'm a guest. As long as I'm visiting for my first time, I'm sitting there in the sitting room and they will serve me. I don't mind if they don't approve of me. I don't mind.
A lot of women will go to their in-laws for the first time and they will give them spoon and pepper and say, "Go and cook." Meanwhile, when the man goes to his own,
he will not wash his.
They did not give him car to wash.
The stereotype
but I think that if the guy should go to the in-laws house, the father should ask now that come and wash my car too.
No, that's the thing. No, the thing is, women are not even being asked. We just feel like we are supposed to do it because we don't want to be seen as not wife material.
That's performative.
It's not performative. It's the truth. If she doesn't go, the woman when she leave, they will tell her this not. They will say, this one.
Yes, see, before you left the house, they've given you OT. Like
they have. Yes.
See, when you get there, if
even
they look
when you are dressing, dress well. Even if there's
but they don't tell those guys.
When you are going there, when they give you meat, don't finish it. I'm sorry. I waste the meat. I will eat it. Well, which one is not? You don't call me. What's
all right? Which takes us to the lesson: the future of feminism. Where do we go from here?
Well, I think it's a very important question and a very good question, because I think for me the future of feminism should not be about the people that are championing it for their own personal reasons, because we have some people on social media that
you can champion something for your own personal reasons.
When I mean personal reasons, I mean that they are not driving it for the entire women populace.
But
they have an agenda.
It is valid.
They have
It is actually valid.
So it's valid.
It's valid if the reason why I'm a feminist is because a man treated me bad, a man essayed me, and I don't want to happen to another woman again.
And especially,
it is valid. That is that not how activism starts?
No. I think what Seun was trying to say is that they should push the future of feminism in a way that pleases the men.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know that.
I'm saying that there should be a line. there should be a line.
The women have not crossed any line yet.
They've not crossed any line.
They have not said men should not.
The only thing we're always doing is dragging people on Twitter. We haven't done beyond
exactly that. Dragging.
You don't like it.
And it's wrong. There are valid cases of domestic violence.
No, okay.
There are valid cases.
I know that there are valid cases. I'm not talking about those. I'm not talking about those ones.
There is no day you will check
people that I'm talking about. They know themselves.
Old man essaying a 3-year-old child. Come on, it's too much.
3-year-old months, 10 months
even
old.
If you're a woman, you will be angry.
And the energy that these men are using to try to tell women to shut up, if
that's
they have used it on their fellow men that are pedophiles,
that's the thing, and they are not talking. When we say this thing, there is always a little few numbers,
the outliers.
But the thing is, the majority do these things. They are the one we are talking about.
And you see, there's something.
Even the few don't come and say this thing because they also don't want to get prosecuted online. They don't want somebody to say, "Oh, simp." That's the word they use now. They'll say, "Yeah, simp." They'll say, "Yeah, simp," because you are trying to. You don't want people to go. And I don't know when. It's just even crazy that a man can be chatting here now and see a man post online that this woman or maybe he has beaten a man. Could you believe that man, he does not know who this person is, but his first instinct is to protect that man?
Yes,
that's it. Their first instinct.
What did she do?
Is there anything that a woman should have done that deserves to be essayed by different men for 32 years?
And now let's even speak about the workplace. We all know that there's the same culture. The people in the society are also part of the society, the workplace as well. So we still have. You even use an example of the workplace in your example, where you said if there is 3 women and 1 man, the chances of the man being made the CEO is higher than the 3 women combined.
Oh, the woman is expected to serve the team coffee.
Yes, why the men sit down?
Why the men sit down and they will tell him to pass them the coffee.
Okay, there are these companies who say that now they are doing diversity, inclusion, blah blah blah, likes. So now they will now say they want to do hiring, and they will now say they are only hiring for females. They are not hiring for males.
Yes.
Then again, it now becomes. I'm seeing it as becoming like a problem, because if you are saying that you are hiring for only females, right, it now defeats the purpose, because you are saying that, okay, in my company, hold on, you are saying in my company, you've seen the ratio of, see where I'm going to, ratio in our company, and you see that we have 95% of them are male, 5% are female. Now you're not saying that if you are pushing out hiring, you just want female hire, because you're trying to do diversity and inclusion. You found out that the percentage is not equal. You're trying to do, now you are hiring them not based on performance now. You are hiring them based on the fact that
it's based on performance, because while the selection pool is women, they still need to perform. They still need to meet a certain.
So
I am saying that irrespective of whether there's include both.
You can't do that. It's already 95% men. So you now want to have the remaining 5% to include the same men again. So what was the point in the first place?
So that means that
what they need to do is review their selection process.
Maybe the selection process
or
the recruitment
towards men.
Process is always tilted, but you now have to find out that why is it tilted towards men?
Because whatever is involved in the selection process has always been leaning towards
favoring men.
Favoring men. That's what you're saying.
Probably the requirements or what is needed for them to work is always tilting towards men. A 95% men ratio in a place of work is not even where I want anybody to go and do diversity inclusion.
That's the truth.
Because if you go there,
you will get eaten up.
If you go there with your 5%,
they will tear you into pieces.
You will be serving them coffee.
Yes.
And they won't even know what they are doing. Because there's already an unintentional bias that helped them to get to 95% men rate in the first place. Do you get where I'm coming from? So it is the culture culture is unwritten. Most times it's unwritten. It's just there. Like nobody's talking about it, but it's how we do things over here. That's culture, right? And you want to talk about job when we even want to talk about diversity hire, or even not allowing people to use their performances, women would, I can tell you in my own experience, women are major victims. That is why they are shouting every day. You write an interview, you write a test, you pass, you are part of the top performing team, and then they choose the top 3, and you're one of the top 3. Then reaching the interview, you're being told, oh, sorry, we don't want a woman, we want a man. Meanwhile, that was not included in the JD.
Yes.
It was not included even in the vacancy post. Do you know why they didn't put it? Because they didn't want to be sued. Now, what they will do is they will allow everybody come in and systematically fish everyone out. Now, you making it at that top 3 means that you must have beaten everybody hands down. For them to, if they say they wanted to do it merit, they didn't have a choice. So they want to now use interview to fish you out. And I'm not telling you from story time. I'm talking about my own personal experience. So it's valid, right, on both ends of the spectrum. But now, you can't look at the society we are in right now, especially in Nigeria, I can't speak of other societies, and say this whole superiority complex is not there. That would be very dishonest. It would be very dishonest.
It will mean somebody is deliberately being obtuse. Like you see it there, I am saying it's not there. No. Are we not saying? Are we stupid? You see that we're not seeing it?
Like, are we not saying it? But it's valid. It's valid though. If we are to understand feminism beyond the Western world, applied in our current world, and now let me put it to you. In our current world right now, what would you think that? How would you think that we should be adapted into our culture so it's safe? Because again, there's the culture. And then there's women trying to have opinions, which is like clashing with most of the cultures in Nigeria. So how do you think that it will be safe for the uprising awareness of women and culture?
I think for myself as a young person, right, I've always been a rebellious person right from when I was young. And as I'm like this, if I should go to my grandma's house, she always know. She will say to things lazy, she cannot cook and clean. And that's not because, it's not because maybe I cannot cook and clean. It's because I've made it a thing, not to make them automatically think, oh, because I'm at home and I'm a young girl, I'm not supposed to cook, right? So I think it just starts from when you were growing up. You have to start rebelling early. Just start. I know there was a time this thing was trending about first daughters, and there was this lady that came and said that she didn't want to cook for her father. I don't know, it's trended last year. We were like, why will you not cook for your dad? And she was like, no, why is she not supposed to cook? She has a brother that is old enough to cook. Why is that her job? And people were dragging her like, see, your father is really, like, fine. I'm not saying my father is not a good person. I'm just saying that that's not it shouldn't be automatically my job. So I think it comes from rebelling. And then we also need to emphasize this. Feminism is not 18 men. It has never been about 18 men. It will never be about 18 men. In fact, any man that thinks maybe we are coming up to 18 is on his own. He has whatever complex, whatever is complex, that's his business, right? We are asking for is to just be aired. The situation whereby there was a time a particular university was called out to that if a guy should essay a woman, you ask him to pay 5,000 naira to university in this Lagos. I'm like, that is crazy.
75,000.
5,000 naira
for sexually abusing a woman.
Yes. So if she reports, they will ask him to pay 5,000. If you're a repeat offender, yes, you pay 2,000 naira. And that's crazy. Can't you see how barbaric it is? These are young ladies who actually want to go to school because they also need a place. You tell them that, okay, they are not working. They say, fine, let me go out there and make it for myself and earn this position. And then they get there, there's always a man somewhere. I think that's the problem. Men are always somewhere. You want to go to school, a man is telling you not to be class captain. You can vote, you can actually be class captain because you have everything that it takes to be one. And then they're telling you, why should you be there? You get to school, you cannot read, you cannot go and study because you don't want to work at night. When you're supposed to be studying, you are staying back at home because you don't want a man to just grab you from somewhere. So everything just boils down to, no matter how young you are, you have to start rebelling from now. It might be hard because it is hard to be that single person that is different. And I don't mind being different because I believe in whatever it is I'm fighting for. I'm not doing it please, if you are some of the people that are doing it because a man hurt you, please stop, I beg. Go and see a therapist, you'll be fine. I love, and you always find a man that will love you, right? But then you need to go out there and go and read books. There's the like of Chimamanda that always, she has always been a feminist. I've always championed. Chimamanda she not kneel down to her husband on her wedding day. And I'm very like this might seem very very little, but these are actually change. This is how change starts from the tiny minute things. If you have another brother that can cook, tell him to enter kitchen and go and cook. Why should you be the one that will be doing the cooking? If
and you don't even have
the man is too much, everybody should eat together.
And
tomorrow is going to learn.
Most times, according to that culture, they do not allow your brother to enter the kitchen to cook. You don't have rights in that father's house.
And that's exactly how it is. So again, like I said, it all boils down to start rebelling from how little you are. You have to start, because if you don't, by the time you grow up and enter husband house, my sister, it might be hard.
Would you say rebelling, or would you say start being, will I say, expressive about how you feel?
Yeah, actually, it's rebelling. It's rebelling because in the context that we are, it's being rebellious. It's against the norm. Okay. When I go and meet a guy, or when I meet men, I'm like, oh, I'm child free, I'm religious, I'm this, I'm like, everything about you screams like I'm rebellious. I'm like, I'm sorry if that's how you see it. I don't know. You understand? Yeah. So this thing is going to definitely be term rebellious. That's why once a woman come up and say it, they'll say, "That's so feminist. You're a feminist."
Like,
because they see it as a slow, and me, I don't even care. I always carry it as a badge. I'm a proud feminist because I always stand for women to be treated as a full human being, to be given equal opportunities at every point in time, to be able to walk out there freely and know that they are getting seen, heard, and listened to. We are tired of the cases of every single day on Twitter. A lady is getting message. A child that does not even know anything yet.
10 months
it's
old.
Crazy.
So
and these are things that I feel like when people say feminist, you're not even angry enough.
Yeah, so I think that aside from being rebellious, I'll say rebellious is a strong
word.
It's a strong word, and I think that it starts from the home, right? It starts from the home actually, because if my mother that is raising me does not teach me some things, or does not teach me something. So for instance, you have 3 siblings, 2 of them are boys and you're the only girl. As the mother, shouldn't you also, encourage your son to be in the kitchen, to also see how you are cooking things? And remember, when you are cooking, it's what you see that you replicate. It's not necessarily in the doing.
Yes.
So you don't necessarily have to do it, especially when they are young. You just need to see how the person is making the jollof rice or the pounded yam. You would know how to do it as well. We learn. Human beings are you can learn visually, not necessarily doing it. So if you're telling your son, bring the onions, cut the onions this way, cut the tomato this way. It will take 20
when you
minutes
wake up, wash the plate.
When you wake up, you are going to wash the plate.
Clean
Maybe you want to do a timetable. Maybe you want to do a timetable and
rotate it.
Some people send
maybe
the daughters to go and clean the son's rooms.
Yes, of course. Now.
Okay, that's another level.
But it
has not happened to me before.
See, that
is another level. That is another level because that's another level.
Now, what you are saying is very valid.
That's another level. So I'm just saying that it starts from
that was why I said from the background.
Now, if both of them have that problem, both the father and the mother, I'm sorry. What will happen is what you do, rebellious.
Yes.
Because both of them think the same way. But train your children to be very independent and have a thought of their own. There's no how you can tell that kind of lady to clean the door.
Nigerian parents have not reached that level. They have.
There's one part that we've not spoken about yet, and that's the part that Seun slightly touched. The women that enable this.
Actually, women are actually the first upholder of patriarchy. They are the one, because because everything starts from the home.
Yeah.
I mean, the society at large starts from the smallest unit in society, which is family. If a woman get married to a man, and you give birth to three kids, a boy and a girl, and then there's one younger one, and then the child see that when they wake up in the morning, it is not just their mommy that is cleaning and cooking. Because both the women and daddy are going to work. So both of them start up and they're like, oh, the mother is cooking.
I'm doing this.
Let me take you and bathe you. Those kind of children will not wake up and say that what they're looking for in a woman is a woman that can cook and clean, because they can do it by themselves.
Yes.
Do you understand?
It's what they are raised. It's what they
because they literally see growing up that my dad never left us. In fact, sometimes my dad was in school. We always seen him. He would cook. Even when my mom, there was I said there's this thing that the Nigerian women used to brag that I actually think is a problem. I don't know if they see it. They will say if I should travel, my husband is always you quickly come that she will be coming back home because she does not have food to eat.
Hey.
They say it with so much pride, and I'm like, that is a child, man.
Okay, now there's an angle that you've not said, and that's the fact that I wouldn't even leave my child to such a human being, because
how many women can leave their child?
The sustainability of my children
is not
guaranteed. So that's, again, when I tell people that I like to be with people that are self-sustainable, they think it's about just cooking and cleaning.
No,
I am a human being.
The sense of responsibility.
Happen. Do you understand? Anything can happen, and I should be able to have a child, right? And then leave my child with my husband, who also donated towards the birth of that child, and it's fine. But calling me and telling me every 2 seconds, the soup you kept in the fridge has finished. Come back home. So it's not because you missed me; it's because the soup in the fridge has finished.
Yeah, there was a woman that she got sick and she was on the sick bed, and their father came and was telling the girl child that there's no food. It's not that your mother is sick. What will I eat like this? The mother was on the sick bed right there.
I think that it should not be an excuse to now say, oh, I don't want to cook again, or I don't want to clean again.
No.
Hold on. The point is not that I don't want to take care of our parents.
No,
if I go to my own place and I go there, she stays there, I will definitely enter the kitchen and cook. I don't have a problem with
it. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that it should not get to a point where...
No, we are not saying you be disrespectful to your parent. That's not the
not
point.
parent. I'm saying, okay, if we want to enter a relationship, I'm saying maybe enter a relationship and get married.
If I'm in a relationship like this...
I'm not saying... it's not that you're not saying, oh, I beg go, I'm a feminist, or I cannot cook.
No, actually, no.
When you can actually cook and you...
Okay,
no.
Wait, hold on.
No, you now use it as a
I actually do say
weapon.
that to men. Do you know the reason why? I say that to men when I meet them for the first time. Because I want to put that disclaimer out there. I put that, even when I met my current partner, I told him, I said, I'm not a wife material. And I mean that in quotes, because when we went to, if a man comes to me and tells me I'm a wife material, I know there's a problem somewhere.
Understanding wife.
So what's wife material?
It's code word for
it's code word for a maid, a servant. Yes, actually, in this Nigerian context, that is actually the code word for it. So that's why I always tell me from the beginning, I'm not a wife material. I can cook, I can take care of myself.
Okay, so what's now husband material?
No, I don't look for husband material in a man too. I don't.
Okay.
I don't. What I look for
before you think you saw
I want wife material, shall.
Okay, the thing is, the general most generic definition that we have of wife material is a woman that is homely. That is what Nigerian men homely. She can take care of the kids. She can hold down the house if it's not available. Even if he's cheating, you will tell him, don't worry, confess something out of him. Confess.
No, go to war room.
Enter war room for him. That is the kind of wife material that a lot of men. Me, if I'm a wife, my job is to bring an equal partnership with my partner. On days when I'm tired or he's tired, he cannot cook and clean, I went and do it. My idea of running a home basically is both of us bringing in our percentage based on our strengths. I know that my husband cannot cook very well. I do the cooking. Not because he's expecting me that, because I'm the one I'm supposed to cook. I already know that he doesn't cook. So there's nothing, it's not a case of me feeling bad that, I'm not going to do the cooking. No. And even if he cannot cook, there is a way he can fill up for that missing hole. So if you cannot cook, you can enter kitchen and it's fine.
Okay, so does that mean that we'll now be doing everything 50-50? Because if we're not saying that...
I don't have any issue with doing 50-50. Maybe because I don't want kids though. But if I'm going to have a child, I can never ever do 50 with a Nigerian man. Never. Over my dead body. If I'm going to have children, no.
But we are the one championing. You are the one championing.
Feminism is not 50-50 though. I think we also need to make a point of that. Feminism is not 50-50. Feminism basically means nobody is expecting that somebody is supposed to do something because they are a particular gender.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the point.
Okay, so they should not be expecting, because me too, I am a guy.
Let me tell you something. In my relationship, I don't 100% expect my partner to provide for me. I can provide for myself because I'm an independent person. I can pay my rent, I can do everything. So when I'm going to a relationship, I'm not going with the mindset of, because it's my boyfriend, he should give me this. Whatever he's giving me is an act of kind gesture. That is the truth. And if you cannot afford to, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, now let's go to the next thing, and that's call to action to our listeners. Okay, with regards to this conversation, promoting feminist values in everyday life. I think that the best thing you can do for a society is create, will I say, sustainable adults. Nobody should be that dependent on someone else. I think that there are gender assigned roles, and then there are life assigned roles. You know, gender assigned roles are those types where you now have women giving birth and men producing the sperm and all that fertilizes. Those ones are
genetically, yes,
it's genetically assigned. Now then there's life role, cook and clean. Please, part of living is eating. If you do not cook,
do you want to
how
starve?
will you eat? Man and woman,
part of living is cleaning your house.
Man and woman wash. But then which tells us that, how do we encourage open dialogue, having conversations about feminism even when it's not comfortable? How do we do that?
It's men that you have to direct that question to.
Men.
Not me.
How do we raise our concerns, right, about about issues that concern us women without you people feeling attacked
and putting yourself in the center?
Well, because I feel attacked now.
Don't worry, you are safe.
because again, I'll go back to the fact that we have to still understand that there's a culture and there's a norm that we grew up with. Even starting from our parents have fashioned us in a certain way. They've given us gender roles, what this gender should do, the way a man is supposed to behave, and the way a woman is supposed to behave. So those things are very, so if you're going to push for feminism, maybe not the word fem, but maybe there's something you've seen in a certain area or community and you are trying to change. You cannot talk to somebody that has coconut head, unfortunately.
People are not willing to change.
But they are not willing to change.
There are too many coconut heads.
They are not willing to change.
That's the problem.
That is an issue, yes. But you have to look for those that you know that
actually
they are open to having those kind of conversations.
You know how I think men can change.
They run those kind of.
We'll come to that.
And they run those kind of organizations. Those kind of people are the people that can champion it. So, for instance, recently this Zenith Bank, or was it Zenith or Access, that has a woman as their CEO.
Yes, Zenith.
Oh, it's Zenith. Thank you very much. So you can see that people like that are championing the fact that a woman can come.
Well, there was a lot of backlash.
Do you understand? There was a lot of backlash, yes, but I'm sure that for her to
she was a fine girl.
For her, although people were saying she's a fine girl, she's a this and that.
They said she should not be dressing one way.
She's a fine girl.
But beyond that, for her to get to that, you will know that some battles must have been fought at the back, and there must have been somebody in the forefront of doing that, right? And most likely it will have maybe been the chairman that will have done that.
So until we get someone that will fight the battle.
That is
until we get men. Yes, until we get men
and
that are able to stand in representation and say,
we should wait until then.
Actually, yes, that's actually the best way we can actually get change.
Having those kind of men around will be able to push it forward, because there's no how you can talk to somebody.
Men don't listen to women. They listen to their fellow men.
You want to talk to a landlord that does not want a single person as the
A
person will
single
not
lady.
a single lady
Yes.
as a tenant. The landlord will definitely not listen.
Actually, you notice
He's not even
whenever
ready
there
to
is issue
listen.
between a man and a woman, the moment a man comes in, his tone changes. Have you noticed?
No, but here's the fact. Here's the thing, right? We want to have these open conversations, irrespective of whether you guys are comfortable or not.
Because we can't keep waiting for you guys. When will you guys be
Because
ready?
we can't.
It's 2024.
You can't come and say,
Come on.
Because I feel like as much as you say it on social media, those things don't really.
It does, I promise
Does
you.
it? Because I don't feel like it's just banter and rats. Because at the end of the day, people still go back to their normal.
You feel like you think that are you talking about we women or the men?
I'm talking about I know that women hammer on some certain tweets that go out that they feel they hammer on it, and at the end of the day, everybody just start, partying on each other, and then they go their separate ways. And I feel like it doesn't really change anything.
Oh no, the conversation ends, but that doesn't mean that the effect is
actually,
not
if you notice now,
Is the
a lot
effect
of
really
people too also
is the
come
effect
on
really
Twitter.
It does.
Actually,
Women
a lot
are
of people come on
becoming
Twitter and say they will meet again, and then the next thing, feminists.
Because I don't trust Twitter people.
No,
Actually,
no.
Twitter is, see, let's be honest, Twitter is real life, and I can tell you for sure that
Are you
there is
sure
a
it's
lot
real
of
life?
Twitter is real life, because the human beings that we are meeting in person those are they, and people share their thoughts more often than you think on that.
It's just that you have to understand context for it to click. Like that young man that killed a girl that is like he grew up with.
Yes.
And then claimed that she was kidnapped and was extorting money from the mother.
Yes.
He had been tweeting some dark thoughts since.
Yes, it was so obvious from him that this guy.
When there was no context, everything became clear. So the thing is, conversations on social media are influencing everyday life.
Yes, so they are.
And that's why a lot of women fought against the whole 4 a.m. cleaning, because if that thing had stood, they were using it to preach on Sunday.
And it's going to be a standard.
I tell you, that woman, your head is
even
not.
Even the person that is not working 4 a.m. too, now, our husband will just wake up one day and say,
you're not waking up 4 a.m.
Why are you not waking up 4 a.m.?
It's grounds for divorce.
Maybe person will be saying, I ain't they cook by himself before. Now I will say, I'm tired. You women should be the one cooking.
Exactly.
See, the thing is, more often than not, social media shapes what happens in real life, and that's why we are always immediately rebooting this thing immediately before it lands. No, I beg, because you don't know. I mean, look at the if you notice, even the guys that killed their girlfriend or whatever, there are only certain kind of people that they follow.
Yes,
you will notice there are certain men they follow. Yes. And the moment that's some men that if I'm talking to me and I notice that they are following certain person, I stop conversation with them, because I feel like these people are feeding them information that somehow causes this violence against women.
They are internalizing these conversations. Yeah, so on and this is just 2 minutes, and each every one of us. How do you handle facing online hate as a feminist?
No be today. The moment you use feminist, like the next thing, actually, what using feminist does for me, it actually shield me from a certain kind of men.
Protects you.
Yeah.
From what you don't want.
Even when I was still on Bumble, like my dating profile, I put it there. That's something that else with feminist. So the moment a man says that, men see it as a red flag. So it shields me from them.
From your own choice of red flags.
Yes. Even my partner, when I told him like I'm a feminist, I was like, I'm happy you are, because it means you are really standing up for something that is right. And that's what I want. My friends, people around me, I want to make sure that I'm bringing it in the head that this thing is not right. This is not how things should be. Exactly. And that is how I make my own impact. Okay. Depending on the time that it's going to get larger. So,
okay. How about you? What do you think about balancing content between activism and, actually assign and speaking to real life issues?
For me, when those conversations come up, especially online, I don't join the conversations, number one.
I notice.
I don't join the conversation because you are most likely to say something that the women will not like, because you are coming from your own place of your own response. So that you see that all those kind of conversations, the more men reply, the more trouble you are giving yourself, because the women are ready to. That's why I don't join those conversations, because it is not my experience. I am not a woman. Do you understand? Because when I join into the conversation, it will now be like.
So how do you now lend your voice?
So how I lend my voice is, maybe after everything has died down, I will now, that's how I do it though. If you notice, I will now come and talk my own, because I know that at that point in time, all the whole anger and the everything,
well, it's the emotional intelligence. I love it.
Do you understand?
Yes.
At that point, you know that the anger and everything, and people can still talk, but at that moment where it is hot, you can't join the conversation.
Yes.
Because there's nothing you want to say.
Any small thing, bullets will touch you.
I'm telling you, it will touch your family. There was one person that caused all the whole family, plus the brother, plus the father.
Because it can be annoying when you see certain comments. Yes.
Let me just.
Yes, it can be annoying when you start comments and you're like, why is this person? At that point, the woman is angry, but you are coming from a standpoint of being logical, and I'm like, this issue is not being logical. Like, this is really issue happening. Do you think we are joking here? So I get the point, and it's really nice.
There's something you said is not your lived experience, so you really may not be able to give a lot of opinions. But you see, those cho people that don't know what it is like, what it feels like, but they seem to have a lot of opinions. Sometimes when there are some conversations you would see that some men will make, some other men will be like, like you see some men championing the cause and say, no, this is wrong. I would love to give some big up to those men, because when I see those conversations, I'm like, okay, awareness is coming on. I think that feminism would always be something uncomfortable to a lot of people, and it will always be something that pushes the causes of women. And with that, let's say our last words. You've been our guest, and we're having you here. Thank you so much for all your opinions, your views, your thoughts. You've been dropping gems back to back as a hit. What's your final take on feminism?
My final take is that if as a woman you're not a feminist, you don't know what you're doing. That's it. Thank you for having me. This has been really, really like nice.
Yeah.
I love, because when I discuss feminism, it's something that I love, because it's something that I think every woman should be able to lend their voice in. You might feel like it doesn't affect you, but I have news for you, my dear. It affects you down to the T. So everybody should be a feminist too.
You recall that woman that and not to slight her, there was a lady that she was there pushing anti-feminism agenda until her fiance, her husband, abandoned her in the hospital, and when she was about to give birth.
Yes,
and then it was still feminist.
He took the money and spent it. Money that's supposed to use to be. It was
Yeah, that's what the narrative was.
I think
and it was
the problem
feminist.
is they always think that it's never going to happen to me, and that's the problem. This can happen to anybody. But anyways,
and that according to the story she put out there,
my mic.
according to the story she put out there, she said that the guy spent the money, and it was still feminist that she had been bad-mouthed, because we look at
that contributed money for her.
That contributed, and even one of them, a
went
very
to
popular
the hospital,
feminist,
Rene,
went to
the
hospital at Igondo General Hospital to visit
and paid.
her. So you see, I think that at this juncture, I would like to put it out there that making feminism anti-men and trying to internalize struggles that are not yours is the highest level of insensitivity and lack of emotional intelligence I've ever seen. And whenever a woman comes out to say her experiences and say this is what men have done to me, just because you didn't do it to another man or another woman does not invalidate her experience. Just because it didn't happen to your sister, your mother, your grandmother does not mean that it's invalid, right? And I think that as men should stop putting themselves in the equation and analyzing the things from what is.
Some of you know say
right?
to agenda no good.
Yes, it's stop putting yourself in the equation. Fine. A lot of women get empowered. What is wrong with having an empowered woman? I know that till now they still keep doing empowerment scheme, but Nigeria's version of empowerment scheme is to give them sewing machine and what do they call that thing? Sewing machine and cooking things.
Cooking tools.
But that's not empowerment.
Gas.
You have to empower women to be able to protect themselves and their children. We have not even begun to talk about women that their husbands die on them like widows. Who is protecting them? You know, for a society that says you should rely on your husband so much, there seems to be no plan when there is no longer a man in the equation. And you wonder why women are saying, no, enough is enough. As soon as your husband dies, your protective shield is gone. Why? You are a human being, you have two legs, you have two hands, you can exist. And this cuts across different economic strata. I'm not talking about those that have money and those that don't have money. I'm talking about women in general, right? A lot of cases of places where as soon as your husband dies,
that's the end.
God. If you're a young woman and you did not marry, no social protection for you. Why? It's like the only thing you exist for is your womb. Because your parents are trying to push you to another man now to go and produce the next year. That's what you are for.
Yes. You know, and many of them, you mean the husband there like this, they'll start asking again.
They're intelligent women. So to you, Seun, in your own opinion, in your last words, what do you think about this?
Well, I think it's an interesting conversation, and I think that more of it has to be had. And I think maybe more from men.
Yes.
Not always from the women, more from men. And I think that men should not look at it as if you speak about it, or if you say something about it, you should not look at it as if you are doing something against the bro code, right? Let's put it that way, against the bro code. You are also championing for your sisters, for your mothers,
for yourself,
for your friends, for people around you. You're also championing
yourself too.
So I want to think that it's also an individual responsibility. As an educated person, someone that's gone to the four walls of a school, there are some things that you need to have learned and unlearned. So I want to believe that this is a point for our viewers that are men out there, that at the end of the day, you owe yourself the responsibility to ensure that a lot of these things don't fly, especially if you have the capacity to do so. You are in the capacity to do so. It shouldn't be heard from you that you are the one selecting a man over a woman for a position that you know that it is the woman that deserves
very, very
to be
shameful.
there. So those are critical things, and men are currently in those kind of positions in this country and in a lot of places, right? There are issues of a lot of sexual. I think there was a lady that was dismissed from the army, and there were issues around. I don't know what the issue. I don't even know what the issue is. But I know that she was dismissed. Abuse. Yes, and she has been dismissed, and I think her case is still in the court and stuff like that. So there are a lot of all these issues out there, and just as my co-host has said, Priscilla, that because it's not happening to somebody close to you, you feel like
you turn a blind eye.
Yeah, you turn a blind eye to it because you never know. Because you never know. Remember that your siblings will japa, they will travel, they will leave the country, they will have conversation. You will not be there. They will have conversation. They will meet with all these other people that will also have the same mindset. And you think that you can control the outcome. Definitely, you can't control the outcome. So I want to believe that we as individuals, we might not be able to do it collectively as an entire gender, because some of us are still learning some of these things that we will need people to still kind of like re-educate us, maybe from our movies, I think.
Exactly.
Right? Entertainment.
Please. They should stop.
But then again,
movie that 30 and and looking for a man.
Do you understand? From movies, because a lot of people watch movies. From entertainment, the music. I don't want to see. I'm not saying that you should not do sexy dancing, or I don't. Is that the only thing? Do you understand?
The music video
so those are things that shape culture. So if we can start from there, infusing all those messages in those things that shape the culture and the way people think, I think it can go a long way. I see a lot of women sing all these women, I won't call it women empowerment songs, but songs that has like drive. So if you look at Arya Star, I think that's one of the reasons I like her, because I think that her songs like emphasize woman commando. Her songs emphasize what she's about and what she sees.
Even the way she dresses, her song embodies that she's someone that is a woman of herself.
So those are some of the things that shape culture. If you have more people like that and they can do stuff like that, maybe in their movies, instead of just amplifying a girl fall in love with a guy and blah blah blah.
The man sexually harassed her and they fall in love later.
There are other lessons that can be pushed and other narratives. I think that if we can start from there, we can influence a lot of people.
Wow, thank you. And that being said, I think it's time for us to raise our glasses. Please have your glasses, please.
Yeah. So
we'll raise our glass to
the women.
More healthy conversations about feminism.
Yes.
Raise our glass to healthy conversations about feminism.
Yes.
Please, can we clink it, please? Thank you. And
don't forget to follow.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment for us. Is there something that we spoke about and you feel like you need to still emphasize on? You can let us know. And I just want to tell the guys out there that even if you are talking about feminism, you should not feel. I think you should not feel like you are a simp.
You are never a simp for demanding for women to be treated like human beings. You are not.
Except when it's not politics.
Raise a glass of vodka. Raise a glass of whiskey. Raise a glass of wine, oh, anything you want. Raise a glass of vodka. Raise a glass of whiskey. Raise a glass of wine, oh, anything you want.